a guy came over the other night, and we had a cigar till 1 o'clock in the morning. Great conversations we had. Okay, great conversations we had till 1 o'clock in the morning. And the conversation came about DeSantis. He was a guy that worked closely with DeSantis, and he was an advisor to DeSantis when DeSantis was coming up. Again, people don't realize this guy's a 43-year-old superstar right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
43-year-old superstar right now, and he's fighting. But the left is trying to figure out any way possible to cancel this guy. And DeSantis continues to fight back. So here's what story just came about, okay? Florida tries to lure ships waiting at backlogged California ports. This is a story, I think, from last week, if you want to go to page 8. And then DeSantis is not just backing down, and he starts recruiting nonstop. But here's what he says. Florida is encouraging ships to ditch backed up ports on the West Coast and head its way, while dozens of ships remain moored off the coast of L.A., waiting to be unloaded in a historic supply chain snarl. Ports in Florida are humming along with little or no delays and are standing by if shipping companies decide to reroute freighters to the East Coast. Florida Governor DeSantis recently invited ships to reroute and offload their shipments in Florida, which has several ports. We're here. We have capacity, says DeSantis. In addition to rerouting ships, some recipients of goods that are being manufactured overseas are also reevaluating their ability to ship using air freight. That increased demand has caused air cargo rates to soar to record levels. But DeSantis doesn't stop. Let me go to the next one here, and then I'll open it up for dialogue. DeSantis planning $5,000 bonus for unvaccinated police to relocate to Florida. This is a Newsweek story. Republican Florida Governor DeSantis said on Sunday that he is hoping to sign legislation that would get unvaccinated police officers a $5,000 bonus to relocate to his state. DeSantis commented about police officers in other states who are losing their jobs because they are not complying with COVID vaccine mandates. On a scientific basis, most of those first responders have had COVID and have recovered, so they have strong protection. And so I think that influences their decision, he said. DeSantis called on police officers across the country, including those in New York, Minneapolis, and Seattle, to relocate to the Sunshine State if they are not being accommodated at their jobs. When you play aggressive, so I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my sister Paulette, and she says, don't you think this puts a target on him? Okay. And I said, absolutely. I said, but what's the alternative? Just sitting there and not doing anything about this? Because if you think about who the last guys that played this aggressive type of offense was, a guy named Governor Perry, okay? And if you guys remember Governor Perry, where he's like, you know, those three organizations, you got the EPA and you got, I don't know what the shucks. He said something like that.
He wanted to close the three organizations. He couldn't remember the
Anyways,
third.
But here's what Rick Perry did. Governor of Texas. He's who recruited us to Texas, by the way. I'm going to have a sit down with him, went to the Rangers game with him.
Prior to
Nola
Abbott.
Ryan, Don, prior to Abbott. So Rick Perry comes to California, and he does a bunch of talk shows, radio shows, and he says, if you're a business owner in the state of California and you're sick and tired of being taxed and regulated, why don't you come to the great state of Texas? We won't tax you. We won't regulate it. We'll let you build your business and do your thing. But we want to welcome you to the state of. So he kept aggressively recruiting people from California, right? Okay. That's a bold move. This guy's making a bold move. He, at this point of the game, I guarantee you, there are meetings, nonstop, strategy sessions, not how to save America, not how to deal with China, not how to deal with the border, not how to deal with the taxes. They're having our strategy sessions. How the hell do we get rid of this guy here?
But that's why Biden doesn't have time to go to the border, so it makes sense.
But he drove past it in 08. I mean, you got to give him credit, though. He drove
close enough.
So listen, DeSantis, apparently he's going to be rerunning. It's the conversation right now whether he's going to be running for office or not has to do with his wife's health. It's not,
she has breast cancer.
Yeah, it's tough. They're dealing with it, but you got to love his audacity to stand up and go up against people. He is playing offense.
Big time. I think another big thing for this as well is you see how many of us were talking about DeSantis just 2 years ago.
He was in a conversation
18 months ago.
Pre-COVID. He was
right.
not.
He almost lost to Andrew Gillum, the socialist. I mean, it was a close race, man. Florida would be in a totally different position right now had that race not gone in the favor of Ron DeSantis.
And I think it just goes to show that during crisis, certain people stand up and certain people push back.
Wartime leader?
Yep, big time, exactly.
Do you think they're going to be able to cancel him?
I mean, it depends on, as long as he doesn't unless there's some dirt on him that they're going to somehow pull up, I think it's going to be hard unless he missteps.
You tell me who you can't find dirt on.
I mean, nobody.
You tell me who you cannot find dirt on.
Nobody.
Okay, then. So do you think their research team is working, and the research team for them is who?
24/7.
Here's their research team. Folks working at the IRS.
Yep.
Folks
FBI,
working at folks working at social
CIA.
media sites, Facebook, Instagram, DMs, text, phones.
All
This
the
is their
above.
research team. It's a pretty qualified research team, by the way, that can get access to any information that they want. Do you think they're going to figure out a way to cancel DeSantis? Or you think he'll make it?
I think they'll try, but I also think that he's not going to go down without a fight. I see him as a guy who's going to go down swinging. They're not going to find something where he's just going to flat out lay down and be like, all right, I'm done. I see him more going down with the ship if that's the case.
Well, and he's had a target on his back for the past 2 years, since COVID started, since Florida didn't. I mean, they locked down for, 2 weeks, and that was it? I mean, he's had a target on his back the whole time, and they've yet to cancel him. Like you said, they're going to try, but he's not going to go down without a fight.
David, you look like you want to say something. Go ahead, Colombia.
Yeah, I don't think he can be canceled. I think he's in the same Trump situation where I think a lot of Trump supporters see DeSantis as the second coming of Trump. And so it's going to be the same situation where if he runs, they're going to try and find all the dirt anytime he said anything slightly disagreeable. But he won't go down.
It's not even saying something disagreeable. It's
Saying
about
or
the
doing.
strategy. It's character assassination. It's manipulation. It's division. It's going to be family, women, money,
Right.
taxes, comments, high school, cancel. They're going to go and find a way to get something on this guy.
Here's the question. Do you think it's there? Like, I don't think it's there with Ron DeSantis the way it was with Trump. Trump had the Access Hollywood tapes. He has all, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue,
it's
et cetera,
like
et
Pat said,
cetera,
you
et cetera.
can always find dirt.
They'll find something.
Always.
He went to University of Florida, I believe. I'm sure he was drunk in the 90s, did something stupid. Women will come out. Things happen. He's a young guy. He's 43, 44. What is he?
43, September 14th.
Look, I think at the end of
43.
the day, whether you're on the left or on the right, you got to hand it to the guy. He's doing a great job here in Florida.
And that's the
So,
key, right? He's
mean-
doing a good job.
I mean, a lot
right.
of people would disagree with that are not in Florida.
Okay, but you got to hand it to the guy. And you brought up Rick Perry. I think he's sharper, smarter, more aggressive, just has better positions. I think Rick Perry was a good old Texas guy. Come on down. Like, I think this guy actually is sharper than Rick Perry. Would you agree?
It's actually great impersonation right there.
Thank you.
Blown
Well, I was just
away.
imitating your impression.
No wonder you.
of Rick
Yeah,
Perry.
Pat's yours was
Yeah,
spot on.
exactly.
You like that?
Yeah, I was like,
that
oh,
was
is
a
that
Middle Eastern Rick Perry.
country
Yes.
twang there from Piggy
But
Lee.
I think one thing that we need to account for is, yes, has he been on the national stage? A little bit. But he hasn't been on the national front page news stage yet, like Trump. I think the biggest person in DeSantis' way is not the IRS stuff, not social, it's straight up Donald J. Trump. It kind of reminds me of when Tom Brady was his rookie year, or even when Aaron Rodgers came and Brett Favre was there. You can use a million different quarterback analogies.
DeSantis is Tom Brady.
No, meaning
Damn.
like you have this young talent.
Quote him.
You have this young talent who's clearly talented politically,
Yeah.
and is doing good things and is maybe destined for great things.
Yeah.
And then you have the old guard, the Brett Favres of the world, the Drew Bledsoes of the world, the Donald Trumps of the world, who aren't just going to get out of the way and give the young buck the shot. So unless there's an injury, unless there's a trade, unless he doesn't run, I don't think DeSantis, as much as he might deserve the Republican nomination, obviously he has to earn it. Trump's not going anywhere. Trump is not going anywhere.
Listen, just
Trump
say
is
it.
going to
You
be the
want
nominee.
Trump to run. Just say it. I mean, if you want him as your, just talk about it openly.
I've said this a million times. I would vote for DeSantis in a heartbeat over Joe Biden. I don't think the country wants another 4 years of Trump. I don't think, other than the base, we've done the Trump thing again. Let's get a young, I don't even want another 70-something-year-old in
It's
there.
like getting back with your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, you know that there's going to be an
Babes, we
abusive,
tried
bad
this.
relationship.
It doesn't work.
Yes.
David,
yes.
are you dealing with something right now?
Yes.
I just need a second.
Who would you rather have, Trump or DeSantis be your president?
If that question is easy question. That's not the question though.
What's the answer?
Because the question is easy. Whoever is going to create less unnecessary enemies.
And you think that's DeSantis?
That's DeSantis. He's going to
Okay.
create less unnecessary.
And I agree with you. Unfortunately,
the
the
way,
Republican base does not.
I think because they don't think he's going to get the nomination, which is what you're saying. They don't think
I
he's
just
going to
think
get the nomination.
they're all in on Trump. That's
Yeah.
it.
By the way, let me
and
just
I
go
don't
into the
think
Trump
that's
story.
The future.
Well, hang on, because I don't think it's as clear cut as you make it. I think the Republican Party is fighting with whether or not they can even go through with electing Trump. We know what happened. We know what it did to the country culturally. Yeah, it was Americans were better off than they had been before. 59% of Americans said they were better off, at the end of his term than they were when it started. But at the same time, we're well aware of what he did to the country and the way it collapsed and what has come because of it. So I don't think it's as clear cut as you make it that the whole right is behind Donald Trump, because they're not. I think it's going to be a battle.
I wish you were right. I just don't think you are.
Well,
do you understand what I'm saying?
So let me say this: Does your position change depending on who Trump's running mate is? If it's a Trump DeSantis ticket, does your position change? Or it's regardless as if Trump is at the front of the ticket?
I don't even know if that is a ticket. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I don't even know if DeSantis wants to, if you're DeSantis, don't you want to do it yourself? Now you're just kind of got swept in with Trump.
You have to know that a Trump tweet helped him win.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget that. So a Trump tweet helped DeSantis win. And it was very close. You know this. This is your state.
Yeah.
It was very close.
Very close.
Trump tweeted it out. Boom. Done deal.
By the way,
yeah.
The arrows, it was very close. It was neck and neck. Since then, Ron DeSantis is now being considered potential next president 2024. Andrew Gimlin was literally found in a homosexual gangbang, drugged out.
Yeah, doing
not
meth,
even
right?
joking.
Yeah, it was bad. He was busted.
And didn't
for
even
meth.
invite me, bro.
Was he the one in? Did he join in the one in Hungary that we covered on the podcast that time?
That was a different one.
Oh, okay.
Good memory. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.